How's it going, guys? How's it going, everyone? So, the thing I want to talk about today is this idea of men grooming. So, this idea of looks maxing is something that I've been fascinated by for a very long time. Well, maybe like a couple of years now. You see, I have a background in STEM subjects like mathematics, engineering, physics, computer science, computer science, that type of thing. So my natural instinct is always to try and make sense of the world through that lens, through a set of objective rules that can be explained and replicated. So this idea that what makes somebody attractive is explainable scientifically through things like symmetry, geometry. This always spoke to me. And so I dove deep into it. And so I dove deep into it because I wanted to know more, because I was curious. And and the things that I found have helped me to apply certain things in my own life. You know, the thing about looks maxing is even before YouTube, even before people were talking about it on YouTube, I always knew there was something there. I could feel it in my gut. I remember being 19, 20 and walking down the street or at the shopping mall and seeing these guys with these bold fades and these nicely trimmed beards and the blended fades with the beards, and it gave that smoky look, and there was just something about that look. Just those guys had an aura just purely because of that smoky look. It was kind of like makeup for guys, and and I couldn't really explain it, but I was fascinated by this concept that somehow doing something with your hair, with your beard, whatever, could just make you look different, could just, without actually changing your face. And so I started on this quest, this journey of trying to figure it out. Over the years, uh, I was a bit, I don't want to say ashamed of it, but I guess depending on where you grew up, mostly society puts you in this mind space that you shouldn't try to improve yourself. If you're not already the shit, the king, then you shouldn't try to change that. You should just be who you are, a mediocre loser, and let the kings take all the women and all the money and all the riches, right? So I guess I had some of that, and self improvement was something that I deep down knew that I wanted to do and that I could do, but I didn't want to be seen to be trying to do it. And so I'd go to barbers and be like, "Can you make my line a bit sharper, or can you do the beard a bit?" However, I would try to explain to them how to groom me, like I would see these guys at the shopping mall. I would try to explain to them how I wanted to look like those guys, but without actually whilst using the most ambiguous and the least amount of words possible, because I wanted to look cool. I wanted to look like I wasn't trying too hard when talking to my barber, to a guy that I was probably not gonna see again anyway. So, because I didn't have at the time a specific barber, I was just going wherever I was. And so I remember one time I got it right. I was in the Netherlands studying, and I went to this Turkish salon, and I ended up I ended up going to some Turkish salon next to where I lived and telling them, "Look, I don't even want a haircut. I've got an event tomorrow. Just give me like a nice sort of grooming type of look. Like give me a beard trim and like do those guys and like do those lines, those straight lines that you Turkish guys seem to excel at." and just do a bit of a bold fade here, but like don't like cut my hair. Just do the grooming part of it. So he was like, "Oh, so you just want?" His English wasn't very good, so he's just, so you just want this, and he just like did this to my face, and I was like, "So you just want to make your face pop in a way?" That's kind of what he was asking, and I was like, "Yeah, that seems pretty accurate. That's pretty much what I was looking for, what I had been looking for this whole time. Just you don't need to cut my hair. Just like do all the other small details. Guys, details matter so much." I remember the next day I was at this event, and for the first time in my life, I had girls asking about me, asking who I was, asking other friends who I was. I was wearing a nice suit, granted, but I also had done the trimming thing and the beard thing and everything, and I just couldn't believe it. I just looked like a king, like a sultan. I was just, this is insane. How much of a transformation to your social life. Something as simple as, I paid €5 for that. I went to the guy. He just did like some threading on my cheekbones, just to like clean that stuff up. Because some guys have a bit of like puffy hair, just like cheek fuzz on their cheekbones. So he took that off, did the brows, like did the beard thing, and also I think he did something to the brows, like he kind of trimmed them a bit, and wow, that the whole next week I would look in the mirror and think to myself, who the hell is this guy? And that comes from, there's so much science behind this, guys. Even when you do your brows, what you're doing is you're creating a more geometrical face shape where you create the illusion of more symmetry. Even though that symmetry was always there, but it was just being hidden by the fact that you had all these stray hairs everywhere. Girls know this. Like, man, girls know this. That's they're good at makeup, and makeup is geometry. So girls know all this stuff. And so the reason I'm making this video is because just earlier today, I decided, I was looking a bit crusty, and I always thought, it doesn't matter how, I, it's weird. I can hold two opposing thoughts in my head at the same time, and they can both be true to a degree and coexist. So I'm the guy who thinks it doesn't matter what I look like. If I'm awesome, and I can prove myself in other ways. I don't need to be the best looking guy in the room. Whilst at the same time knowing that if I did look a certain way or dress a certain way, present myself a certain way, then I would get all these added benefits. So that's why I don't go too crazy on the trimming, the grooming, the LooksmaXXing. But every once in a while, I decide to treat myself. I'll go to the salon. I'll get a cut. When I get a haircut, if depending on the salon, depending on where I am traveling, I'll depending on where I am, because I do travel quite a bit. If they do offer the other services like the cheek defuzzing, the beard grooming and stuff, like the brows, the waxing, whatever, if they have all of these, and sometimes they'll ask, do you want that too? I'll just say yes, and they'll do it. And each and every time I do that, I just look at myself in the mirror and think, wow, I just went half a point to a point up on the SMV scale. If you don't know what the SMV scale, Google it. Purely because I said yes to a bit of brows waxing or threading and a bit of cheek fuzz, defuzzing, whatever that's called, and a bit of beard grooming. And that's all it takes. It's like putting on makeup. And there comes a point where you have to ask yourself, why don't I always do this? Why don't I always want to look my best? And I guess the answer for me is, a lot of what I do work-wise is not social work, is work that can be done from your bedroom, or it's just like mental, cerebral work that I almost want to look bad for. I almost want to look a bit crusty for that work, because when I look in the mirror and I see I look good, I'm like, I need to go out. I need to go talk to some girls. I need the world to see how awesome I am. I don't want to have those thoughts. When I've got a business to run, I'm like, I wake up, I look in the mirror, I look like shit. I'm like, I'm probably half an hour to an hour of grooming away from looking decent. I'm not feeling it. I'm not going to put in the work. Therefore, I'm just going to order coffee and work on my business. And sometimes you have to be in that mode. You have to be in that crusty monk mode. And I feel like monk mode works so much better when you're crusty. I don't know. I can't explain it. Just there's something about having a dirty room with crumpled papers thrown everywhere that just makes you study better for an exam, for instance. I remember I was doing this as a student, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is, guys, you're always half an hour to an hour away of just doing a bit of LooksmaXXing, a bit of like doing your brows, doing your cheek fuzz, and just looking phenomenal compared to if you were to do it before and after with zero effort. I mean, that's the quickest win you can get. And yeah, I just think it's an awesome thing to do. It's an awesome feeling. And you should do it. Why should you not look your best? All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on it. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.